You remember our favorite ice fishing video?
Is that him?
Same guy.
Yes!
It is the same
He's
guy.
back, and this time it's personal.
Yeah. Stop it. Welcome
Welcome to the
to
Naked
Naked
Apple. And this time we don't have an inside joke to start with.
We unfortunately do not.
Unfortunately.
So just welcome.
Welcome.
Here we are once again.
Welcome, and you're welcome.
What are we welcome for?
Your.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Just checking.
Yep. Thank you for clarifying.
Indeed. Well,
last night was uneventful entirely.
entirely uneventful.
So, if you feel like your campaign or your debate performance needs redemption, you can go to Redemption Tactical. They won't actually help you with your debate or your campaign, but they will help you feel redeemed with your tacticalness. That's a word. I said it, so it's a word. Everything from plate carriers to plates to all kinds of fun little swag and hats and even a candle if you really feel so inclined.
Even you can be tactical.
Tactical. Darn it.
You're welcome.
Link in the description down below. 5-star review. Tell them hi.
It's the most important thing.
That is the most important thing. Now that that's out of the way, I feel it is time
Is it time?
to liven the mood, if you will.
Is it that time?
It is that time with our weekly dose of what we like to call a vitamin B.
Welcome to your vitamin B.
Thank you so much.
We have the news for you today.
The news.
All of the news.
All of the news.
All of the news.
Everything you need all in one stop.
We'll start at the end.
Ooh.
Harris campaign admits Tim Walz was the only candidate that answered their Craigslist ad.
That's good. It's a good one.
Indeed. Kamala quietly asks aides if she should just try sleeping with the economy.
Gosh, dang it.
It's made everything else in my career better. Why won't this work?
I mean, there's that.
In other news, Democrats to replace Kamala on ballot with the ABC moderators. It's been a long time since I've seen somebody carry water like that. It's
His back has got to be killing him.
got to be killing him. Trump jumps 30 points in the polls after telling Kamala Harris to be quiet.
It's what America really wants.
Yes. And he jumped another 30 after woman who made career singing about her bad choices endorses Kamala.
That's true.
In brief moment of lucidity, Biden endorses Trump.
Brief moment of lucidity.
The lucidity did not include remembering how to wear a hat.
Oh. You don't just put it on another hat?
Don't know. No, it goes down, sits just, with the earline here. Looks roughly like this when you wear a hat appropriately. In other news, Ohio cats take to the streets to protest immigration with signs such as "End immigration, meow."
Immigration meow.
"We are friends, not food." And "Catnip is not a crime." In completely unrelated news, Ohio Chinese buffet forced to close after Haitians decimate food supply.
That's tragic.
That's tragic.
I was looking forward to eating there.
Mm-hmm. In response to all this, media assures Americans that migrants haven't killed any cats, just women and children.
Oh, it's fine then. It's totally fine.
And last but not least, we reach out to the community with a cry for help, as our dear friend Bluey was reported missing after Haitian migrants moved in next door.
Oh, no. No! No!
And this has been your Vitamin B.
Sorry, I was interrupted from focusing on you because a video of a man wearing going through TSA. He was pulled aside for a special check. Definitely not because he's wearing a shirt that says it's only gay if it's TSA. Or it's not gay if it's TSA.
It's not gay if it's TSA.
To which they proceed to grope him all over to make sure the x-ray was correct in showing that he's not.
In fact, gay. I mean, that's you can't see that on an x-ray.
The gaydar is off the charts.
Gaydar's off the charts.
It's not gay if it's TSA.
Cannot wait for the meme that comes from the one guy that got a picture of the TSA agent putting on a rubber glove as he walked up to that dude with the dude's shirt in full view. It's not gay if it's TSA.
Snap.
Speaking of things that aren't gay. How is Cox doing?
What kind of things? What kind of things? I don't know if you have in your mass of buttons over there a button that could adequately describe what we're about to delve into.
I don't know if I do either, but we can try.
They might be trying to screw me.
Well, of course they're trying to screw you.
That's pretty good.
Oddly fitting. Both conversations, all sides of this conversation.
There's also this, which I don't know why we don't have it.
Gay!
Classic. Governor Cox, governor of Utah. This is quite the series of events. So September 3rd, story was released from Auditor John Dougal, who we had on the show while he was running for House, District 2 or something, 3, something like that. He decided to do a little audit, just a little one, on some of the signatures that Governor Cox received for his campaign. According to the Salt Lake Tribune, the headline, auditor concludes it's statistically likely Governor Cox gathered enough valid signatures for 2024 ballot. Now, without reading anything else, as soon as I saw that headline, I thought that was a very curious wording for a headline. Statistically likely Governor Cox gathered enough valid signatures for 2024 ballot.
I'm not going to say that sounds like a headline that was cherry-picked out of something that they didn't want to say out loud. I'm not going to say that that's what this is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can infer whatever you would like, but that's definitely not something I'm going to say about this particular headline.
Following challenges to the authenticity of more than 28,000 signatures Governor Spencer Cox's re-election campaign gathered to qualify for the Republican Party. Oh, that's a long sentence. Republican primary election from his failed opponent, the Utah auditor, found this person needs to be fired. The entire paragraph is one sentence, with only one pause for me to take a breath at. That's terrible. Anyways, the Utah auditor found it's, quote, statistically likely, end quote, Cox and others achieved the required support to make the ballot. Why not put the whole quote on there? Wonder why they didn't put the full quote on there, because apparently they have his full statement, and they do. It's linked in the thing. But anyways, other candidates whose signatures Auditor John Dougal reviewed include U.S. Senate candidate John Curtis, interesting, who currently represent Utah's 3rd congressional district, and Attorney General candidate Derek Brown. Interesting. All 3 of these guys, Cox, Curtis, and Brown, all 3 of them are hated by people that are actually conservative in the Republican Party. And all 3 of them having their signatures reviewed. By the state auditor. We concluded that it is statistically likely each of these candidates met the statutory threshold of required valid signatures, Dougal wrote in a statement. In addition, each candidate had ample time before the deadline to gather additional signatures if requested by the signature validators. Translation to me, based off the sample that we have, statistically he has enough, but they also got just enough when they had time to get more than just enough. Am I reading that right? Is that
sounds about right?
That sounds like what he said. Dougal detailed the full audit process in a letter addressed to Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, who oversees elections in the state and is running for re-election on Cox's ticket. That's a great thing to have there. Yep. The review came after Dougal's office said it received many requests to review petitions candidates used when taking the signatures path to the primary ballot. Many of the questions raised, it added, were related to the validity of signatures belonging to voters who have requested to have their voter registration information protected, as state law allows. Dougal said his office focused on analyzing a sample of protected signatures that it reviewed over 1,200 randomly selected signatures. During that process, I personally reviewed each of those sample signatures for the Cox-Henderson campaign. Dougal wrote, I noted 4 exemptions from our primary sample of 373 signatures. 4.
That's 1%, by the way. It's a little bit more than 1%.
Interesting.
We're incorrect.
Interesting. Exceptions include when a signature does not match the one in the state voter registration database or when the signee is not a registered Republican. Oh.
Which, for reference, right, for a statewide race, you were required to gather 28,000 signatures.
Uh-huh.
Cox gathered 28,000 signatures. So if 1% of the 28,000 are...
Well,
inaccurate.
He had just more than 28,000.
Yes.
Yes.
But if 1% of the 28,000 are not submittable,
What's 1% of 28,000?
1% of 28,000 is 280 signatures.
Oh. Oh, so it's easy. It's fairly easy to quickly fall beneath
Yes.
28,000 when you have just over 28,000 signatures.
Yeah, pretty much. Are you Googling something?
Uh-huh. Where are you, Coxie?
Because from what I remember before, he did not have hardly any extra.
I found it.
You found it?
So the three in question was Curtis, right?
Yeah.
Had 28,006 verified signatures. Certified signatures.
Okay.
Derek Brown, 28,004 certified signatures.
Wow.
Cox, 28,006 certified signatures.
So, and based on that sample size, I would say none of those three probably actually had enough signatures.
So just in the Cox thing that he personally looked at, 373, 4 exceptions.
Yes.
Which means, just some quick math, 28,006 minus 4 is
28,002.
2. So he's still got enough. He looked at 373
out of 28,000. So,
sorry, 28,006.
and what he means by statistically likely, he did not say statistically certain. He says statistically likely. He was very, very direct in his wording.
The odds of him finding all 4 bad signatures in all 28,006
Are not zero.
is not 0. However,
it does approach 0. So,
things that make you go,
here's the problem. They add the caveat of he had plenty of time to request extra signatures if it had been requested of him. However, it was never requested of him.
so, okay, you got 6 more than you need. Cool.
Yeah. So the signatures were never properly reviewed. So more signatures were not requested. So he didn't have enough signatures in my mind. It's that simple. Like if you're going, I would expect that a 1 to 2% error ratio would be fairly common in something like this.
Oh, yes.
Of somebody signed weird or whatever, and you can't match the signature. I know for a fact my signature is never the same 2 times in a row. It wouldn't surprise me if my signature was rejected at some point.
Right.
Because
At the very least, flagged for review.
at very least flagged for review. Exactly. You know, because of the way I sign. And that's something I should probably fix eventually, but I just don't care enough to.
No, you got to keep it ambiguous like that so that nobody can actually make money off your signature.
Right. Exactly. So
This is his actual signature. It doesn't match the one we have on record. Well, neither does the one you have on record match the one you have on record. So
what exactly are we doing here? Right. But so if that's the case, then the standard shouldn't be 28,000. It should be 28,000 plus a 2% padding.
Well, I think it's fine having the 28,000, but if you are a, honest person, if I were gathering signatures, I would tell my campaign, "Hey, we got the 28,000. Cool, get 2,000 more."
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, we have enough. I know. Get 2,000 more.
Yes.
I never said we were stopping at 28. That was just the goal.
That was just the goal. Right.
It's the bare minimum. We don't do bare minimum around here.
Right. And for this exact reason, there's always a margin of error. You should always account for margins of error.
Mm-hmm.
But that's neither here nor there.
It's neither here nor there, nor is it probably actually a legal candidate on the ballot. But anyways.
I don't know. I don't care anymore. I'm going to sell my house and move out to the middle of a field somewhere. I'm done.
I'm done. The office then asked signature validators at the Davis County Clerk's office to verify thousands of uncounted signatures received before the submission deadline, and it audited a random sample of those too. We will continue our review into other aspects of Utah's election process, but we hope our efforts provide the electorate with greater insight into the recent signature validation process, Dougal wrote in a statement. An audit into the signatures coincides with a widening rift among Utah GOP about the future of the state's caucus convention system. Candidates picked by caucus, elected delegates, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, just something to point out here of, so at the convention, Phil Lyman won the convention.
Mm-hmm.
But he lost to Cox by 38,000 votes in the primary. So it's just odd how narrowed some of these margins are. But it always goes one way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so this came out on the 3rd.
Yes. September 3rd.
And then on the 5th, 2 days later, Richard Lyman and Carol Lyman are now writing candidates on the Utah governor's race. So let's see. Cox gets a report that you might not actually have enough signatures. All of a sudden, there's 2 more Lymans on the write-in ballot.
That has nothing to do with anything, obviously.
Well, sometimes Cox finds a dick and he puts it on the ballot. And he offers to pay him $1,000 and a steak dinner.
What kind of steak?
Well done.
Ew.
Ew. Well, it's Cox, so.
That ain't right.
Yeah. So So now if you want to write in Lyman in Utah, you have to write Phil Lyman if you actually want Philip Lyman to be the governor. Otherwise, your vote will be counted as null and void because, well, there's 3 Lymans that it could be. Naturally, people are trying to figure out who this Richard and Carol Lyman are. And Lyman had information someone sent to him that suggested that Richard Lyman is somehow associated with Cox, and Cox offered $1,000 and a steak dinner for him to get on the ballot. Which is kind of a weird offer because, if I remember correctly, it's $10,000 to file the paperwork per person to get on the ballot. So $10,000 for the governor and $10,000 for lieutenant governor. So $1,000 steak dinner. Kind of weird offer. But apparently Carol Lyman is the mother and Richard Lyman is the son. And Richard Lyman was the one that was offered the $1,000 and Carol Lyman paid the $20,000. So Richard's got the steak end of the deal here. If that's the case. Local news outlets decided to investigate this. They did their due diligence. And this is from KSL. A Utah woman told KSL TV she and her son decided to launch a last-minute write-in campaign for governor. Oh. North Salt Lake resident Richard Lyman and his mother, Carol Lyman, filed to run for governor and lieutenant governor as write-in candidates on September 3rd, which is also the literally last day that they could do it. And they decided to kind of investigate a little bit because, like I said, Phil Lyman's suggested that, hey, here's, did the Cox campaign pay Richard Lyman? And here's text messages I received from someone that knows Richard Lyman, and this is what was going on. $1,000 in a steak dinner. In a statement provided to KSL Monday, Matt Lusty, a spokesperson for Cox's campaign, wrote, Phil Lyman has a habit of making accusations that are blatantly false. This is no exception. That's it. That's all they had to say. Carol Lyman said, Governor Cox's campaign is not paying us. I actually paid the fees of both of us, period. Carol and Richard didn't want to be on camera, by the way. Should point that out. But they do have a statement, and KSL investigators went to their home.
But they want to be governors?
Uh-huh.
Don't want to be on camera, but I want to be a governor.
Uh-huh. Yes. Makes sense, right? We're running to make a statement, she wrote. People keep asking if we're related to Phil Lyman. And last Sunday, someone asked, and it was the straw that broke the camel's back. I've always been proud of my name, and the negativity of his campaign is causing me real embarrassment. Richard and I talked about it and decided to run so that we had a candidate we could feel good about. Voting for, because we don't feel good about voting for Cox or Phil Lyman. Because there's no other option.
Yeah, you couldn't vote for the Libertarian candidate or the Green candidate.
Or the Democrat candidate. Or any of the other write-in candidates. No. I am so petty about people asking if I'm related to Phil Lyman that I'm willing to spend $20,000 to file the paperwork to make a statement. Carol Lyman said she is not aware of any familial relation to Phil Lyman.
That they're all related. They're Lymans.
Yeah. It's somewhere down there you're related. Are you related to Phil Lyman? No, I'm not. And darn it, now I'm running for governor. So stop asking me. And no more questions, no interviews. Please keep me off camera.
Yeah.
Oh, it's... I don't think I have the link. I didn't have the link here, but the Utah governor debate was tonight.
Oh, yeah?
It looks like it was full of nothing.
Of course
with
not.
Three politicians.
Was the Libertarian allowed to debate tonight?
He was. He made the cut. And
I bet he actually did really well.
From what I saw of the people that watched it, is he had some good moments, but mostly it was all three of them were just so happy to be there and not really saying one was worse than the other. And they were disagreeing better, all three of them, essentially. And they did note that Cox appeared to be high on something. With how energetic he was trying to be.
Oh. I thought you meant he was like stoned or something. Like actually high.
But anyways, in order to get onto the debate, you had to reach a certain threshold of percentage in a poll. And the poll was one simple question that was asked around of if the governor's election was held today, who would you vote for? And they rattled off the list of names, and then there was an other option. And they would, the people answering the questions would have to specify who the other was. Phil Lyman had 22 mentions. Philip Lyman had some mentions, and Lyman had some mentions. He added all together, and depending on how you add it, because there was also unspecified, which is kind of a weird response for trying to get specific answers. But depending on how you add it up, he was either one vote short of the threshold, or he definitely made the threshold and they had to split it up. And that poll was concluded the day before anybody knew that there were more Lymans on the ballot, and the day after the Lymans applied to be write-in candidates. So the 4th. It was on the 4th. That's when the poll concluded. But we got to split up those Lymans. We don't know which Lyman they're talking about. And this is a fun little summary of things. And also, they have a little interesting email that was sent between Dee Dee and Richard. That one.
Actually insane.
What happened?
The last day to file as write-ins, right before the deadline, 2 more Lyman names filed as write-in candidates, and it's a mother and a son.
Are you kidding me?
And that's not even the craziest part. There are now text messages emerging that show that the Cox administration is the one that set up these 2 Lymans to file, and allegedly set up an account, wired them $1,000, and offered a steak dinner to have them file to write-in.
This is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
So what you're saying is the Cox campaign allegedly bribed this mother and son to run as write-in candidates because they have the last name is Lyman to confuse all the voters. They're going to be writing Phil Lyman's name in. Like, this is against the law. This is election interference.
There's also an email from Deidre Henderson, signed by Deidre Henderson to...
See if I can stop on this. So my eyesight's terrible this far away, so it'll have to be you.
Okay. Read the highlighted bits.
Yeah, start with that.
All right. Hello, Richard. We still need a letter from you saying that Carol Lyman is your designated lieutenant governor running mate in the 2024 general election. Can you please type something up and email it back to this email address before 5 p.m. today? Thank you. Office of Lieutenant Governor, Deidre M. Henderson.
All right. So they didn't have enough information in order to file it, and it was sent on September 5th at 3 p.m.
Yes.
So right before her office closes.
Yes.
But then that top part is where I think the real interesting thing is, not necessarily the highlighted part, but above that is his response to her. And I can read it here. It says, "Sorry, I am getting hit up with a lot of messages today, and your last message looked a little suspicious coming through Salesforce." Why is she using Salesforce to send official messages to writing candidates trying to get on the ballot?
Don't know.
Yes, and then yes, Carol Lyman is my designated lieutenant governor running mate in the 2024 election. Huh. Using Salesforce. It's curious. Very curious. I'm sure it's all on the up and up, though. It's fine. Totally fine. On the federal level, he might be the closest thing we have to a founding father in Congress right now. Might be. Because conservatives and Democrats hate him.
Yeah.
So that sounds about right.
Massie, Paul. There's a couple of those guys that are pretty spot on most of the time.
So Mike Lee is super excited because the SAVE Act is going to be attached to the continuing resolution. SAVE Act being clarifying that it's illegal for illegals to vote in the election.
Oh, goody.
So, it's a nice thing to have. Thomas Massie points out, I refuse to be a thespian in the Speaker's failure theater. The 6-month continuing resolution with the SAVE Act attached is an insult to Americans' intelligence. The CR doesn't cut spending, and the shiny object attached to it will be dropped like a hot potato before passage. Yeah. Yeah, it'll get to do the Republicans control the Senate? Or is that the Democrats that control the Senate?
Senate?
Senate.
I think Senate. I don't remember.
Democrats.
Democrats control the Senate.
Yes.
Yes.
With Kamala Harris being the tie-breaking vote.
Yes.
And Republicans like Mitt Romney. For that razor-thin margin that the Democrats have. So he's done. And this is what he had to say about it all, because why? Why?
We're calling Mr. Massie.
Can we be honest with the American people about what's going on here? This is political theater. I'm going to call out both sides right here. It's all posturing. It's fake fighting. We all know where it ends up. This is Groundhog Day. I don't care if the Democrat is the speaker or Republican is the speaker. We always get a CR in September, and then we get an omnibus. Sometimes there's a twist on that. We might get the omnibus before Christmas, but if we're not good, it comes after Christmas. But that's what's going to happen. And in the meantime, it's political theater. We've got it's good theater. We've got great writers. I wish they'd just come up with a new plot. It's the same plot every fiscal year. What should we be doing? It's already been discussed. We should have done 12 separate bills. We should have done 12 separate bills. But again, whether Democrats are in control or Republicans are in control, we never do the 12 separate bills. Why do we always spend at least as much as we did last year, and why do we never cut spending? It's because Democrats want to grow the welfare state, and Republicans want to grow the military-industrial complex.
Yep.
And we're eventually going to get together, and they're both going to go up. I guarantee it. And both parties are just fine letting the bureaucrats do their thing, which should be our thing, according to Article 1. Section 8 in the Constitution. We are empowered with these things. Most important of the things we do is the funding, and that's the big lever we have. I've sat through now almost 2 years of hearings in this Congress where we've exposed lies at the CDC, shortcuts at the FDA, unconstitutional gun bans at the ATF, over prosecution of January 6ers at the DOJ, targeting common citizens at the FBI, spying by the NSA, illegal mandates for livestock by the USDA, targeting plant vaccine or transgenic plant vaccine at the NSF, and censorship, the censorship industrial complex of which the NSF is part of, automobile kill switch at the DOT. Now, these are all things I think most Democrats are just fine with, this kind of totalitarian state that the bureaucrats are pushing on us. But Republicans at least pretend to be against these things. But what are we going to do this September? We're going to fund every freaking one of those things that we have exposed. That is the tool that we have, is the funding. Why are we funding things we don't like? We don't have to. Well, it's because we're addicted to spending. And this doesn't do anything about the addiction at all. So let me touch on one point too here that I think is important. is, a couple years ago, or a summer and a half ago, I suppose now, we did something where we allowed the debt limit to be increased. But as a condition of that, we said if you do a CR that lasts past April 30th, everything's going to get cut 1%. And that, to me, seemed like at least a little tinge of fiscal responsibility was creeping in. But now I notice that this CR, instead of going 1 year and giving us time to do the 12 appropriations bills, is going to go 6 months. Now, let me tell you what's going to happen because this goes 6 months. Number one, it ends in March 28th, on March 28th. Well, the automatic cuts happen on April 30th if the CR went past that. So that is exactly why the Speaker chose a 6-month CR, is so we don't have even the chance, a threat to this town, it's a threat of a 1% cut. We don't want to even, this is like T-ball. The 1% cut is on the tee, and Republicans won't even swing at it. So instead, we're going to do a 6-month CR instead of a 1-year CR. That sets up another crisis next spring where we can do another pretend fight sometime around March. And that fight it'll be the same fight regardless of who wins the presidency and who's in charge of the Senate and the House. And we're basically going to get pretty much the same result. But that's 6 months from now. In the meantime, we can kick the can down the road. All of these things that we've exposed and all of these hearings are going to continue to get funded. But wait, there's a bright, shiny object on this CR. I've never seen one of these. I have never seen a bright, shiny object attached to one of these must-pass bills. Oh, wait, no. It actually happens. There always is a bright, shiny object, a bauble, if you will. A little something to get excited about. This SAVE Act, it's going to save us all, right? And by the way, this is good political theater. I do like this part of it, that we're going to see almost every Democrat cast a vote so that illegals can vote in our elections. I mean, that's pretty clever on the part of our Speaker to set that up, make you all take that vote. But here's what he's going to do after you take that vote. He's going to take it off. The bright, shiny object goes away. It's Lucy and the football again. And the American public is all revved up. Yeah, we're going to get to save it. We're going to save these elections. We're going to stop the illegals from voting. Really? How are you going to do that in like 6 weeks? I think they're already registered if they're going to vote. Some of them probably already voted. This SAVE Act ain't going to save anything. And particularly because it ain't ever going to become law. It's a false promise to get all the Republicans half pregnant. And then you're going to get fully pregnant by the end of September when you vote for this CR. That is not going to have this, I mean, I hate to break this to you. I mean, the Democrats already know this. I'm not telling you anything special. I hate to break it to the Republicans. You ain't getting the SAVE Act. It is not going to stay on this bill. Why? Because we're going to cave. We're going to cave. Is it a fight worth having? Absolutely, it's a fight worth having. Make those Democrats say they want illegals to vote. Make them take that vote as many times as you can. And then make them go to the ballot box in November. But that's what it is political theater, folks. We all know where it ends up. We've seen it. I've been here 12 years. I've seen it 12 times. I refuse to be a thespian in this failure theater. And with that, I yield back.
My new spirit animal.
For real, though.
My new congressional spirit animal. Thomas Massie.
Do it.
Yeah. Saying exactly what I've been saying this whole time with all the dumb hearing clips and stuff that really stopped playing because there's nothing really point to them. Oh, look, they're holding their feet to the fire. Yeah, and then they extinguish the flames. What's your point? I don't... Well, the director of the Secret Service, she resigned. Yes, she should have been fired. Mm-hmm. Along with a lot of other people in the Secret Service. But no, we let her resign because, well, there's no point going after her now. She resigned. Oh, okay. Yes, the murderer murdered someone, but he's not murdering now, so why go after him? That's true. That's true. Go Thomas Massie. Standing alone in Congress. I believe in you. Someone thought they had him by saying something about the all the money that they kept sending to us while we were locked down. And before Massie could even respond to them, someone responded, "Who wants to tell her?" Because he's like the only one that voted no on any of those checks in the mail packages. Who's going to tell her? While we're on the topic of Thomas Massie, today, September 11th, 2024, he introduced House Resolution H.R. 9534, the National Constitutional Carry Act. No one should have to beg the government to exercise a constitutionally protected right anywhere in the country.
I agree with that. Specifically because I have to go to California every once in a while and F that place. Sideways with a cactus.
And in the bill, he quotes all kinds of Supreme Court rulings because, you know, the left loves the Supreme Court most of the time until they rule in something that they don't agree with and they want to pack the court with more people that agree with them. But a bunch of Supreme Court rulings that basically say, you stop touching the Second Amendment.
Good.
So, is it going to work? No, probably not. But
we appreciate the effort.
We appreciate the effort. This is just like what he was talking about. No, because he's doing it as a standalone thing. He's not doing
fluff on it. He's not putting it in as a bobble.
Yeah, it's not a bobble. It's like, let's vote on
or pork.
this.
It's neither one of those things.
Yeah,
it's simply a bill.
Yeah, I don't see anything in there that says allocate this much money to something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wish we could get that passed.
Yeah. Then abolish the ATF afterwards.
Or before.
Or at the same time. Yeah, just abolish it.
Just abolish the ATF. I don't care when. As long as it's soon.
Sooner than later. For some good and fun news, I got a couple of stories for some good and fun news.
Oh, good. Good fun news. Here we go.
In Ohio.
Oh, yay, Ohio. What is up with Ohio? What the hell is wrong with Ohio?
A lot of stuff. Apparently. However, this one, we are focusing on the town of Hudson.
Ah, okay.
Where,
what happened in Hudson?
Well, the mayor decided to speak to the school board.
Oh, good. They need to clean up their act and do better things for the school.
Teach the kids better.
Teach the kids better, yeah.
Yeah, this is how it went.
That's about right.
This is how it's.
Let's see what he had to say.
Earl, members of the board, my name is Craig Schubert. I'm the mayor of this city. It has come to my attention that your educators are distributing essentially what is child pornography in the classroom.
Excuse me?
I've spoken to a judge this evening. She's already confirmed that. So I'm going to give you a simple choice. You either choose to resign from this Board of Education, or you will be charged. Thank you.
You hear the dude in the back? Oh!
Yeah, it's not he's just going in there higgledy-piggledy. No.
I've
talked to a judge, and the judge agrees. That's child porn.
So, you either resign from this Board of Education. Oh!
My man.
Wow. Dude, freaking Ohio, man. Leave the geese and the cats and the children alone. What is wrong with you?
Just came flying in off the top rope.
Stop, don't come back.
Jeez, man.
This NBC News story. It's not
news, everyone.
Yes. It's not clear what charges the board members could face. Distribution of child pornography. That's
all right, I've heard enough. Deadly force authorized.
He was pretty clear.
I thought I timed
It's
that
come
really
to my
well.
attention that your educators are distributing what is essentially child pornography in the classroom. It is not clear what charges the board members could face. This is investigative journalism right here, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not clear what... I mean, if there was any justice, lynching would be on the table.
David Zuro, the board's president, said Wednesday that no member has indicated any intention to resign. Okay, so charge them all.
Ha! We pick the fun way.
Sheriff! Oh, merry man!
You went full retard, man.
While we respect the mayor's position within the city of Hudson, do ya? In accordance with state laws of Ohio, the supervision of public schools of this district is the responsibility of the Board of Education. Correct. Why are you distributing child pornography?
Nazi fags.
All the buttons tonight.
Yes.
The assignment that sparked the mayor's strong reaction was a book titled 642 Things to Write About that was given to seniors taking a college credit course at Hudson High School. College seniors are adults?
Most of the time, no.
Oh.
Ooh. I mean, I guess they technically could be.
They could be.
Allegedly.
Allegedly by age, although there are... I
graduated when I was 17, so...
Right. And I believe that there are some states that have something in the books of if you're in high school, you're still a minor, even if you're 18. Things like that. The book contains prompts such as, write a sermon for a beloved preacher who has been caught in a sexual scandal. Excuse me? Describe your favorite part of a man's body using only verbs. Choose how you will die. And write an X-rated
Quickly.
Disney scenario.
That's the only answer I've got is quickly. For how you will die.
Quickly in a hail of bullets.
Yes. I always say I don't care how, I just don't want to feel it and I don't want to see it coming.
I don't want to feel it, I don't want to see it coming, and I want hot lead all over the place. Yeah, and write an X-rated Disney scenario. Huh.
X-rated Disney? Those things aren't supposed to go together. Allegedly.
So not only is it distributing child pornography, it's also encouraging kids to look things up to get an idea of what they should write about, which is illegal for minors to. They do it all the time. That doesn't mean it's legal. Other prompts ask students to write a sex scene you wouldn't show your mom. Oh. And then rewrite the sex scene from above into one that you let your mom read. Oh. It also asks students to drink a beer and write about the taste. Oh, so it encourages underage drinking.
So, okay, to be fair, this book is written for adults. It's sold on like Amazon and stuff as a journal for adults.
So naturally it belongs in the high school. And to list what television shows would be on their DVR list if they were serial killers. Guns are the problem with all these mass shootings in schools.
Yes, because nobody ever watched Dexter and didn't think, I wonder.
The book also contained less provocative prompts, such as describing the worst Thanksgiving dish or writing about the perfect day as an astronaut. Oh, okay. So it was full of crap, but it had, fresh lettuce on top of it and stuff. It's still a crap sandwich. It had fresh ingredients in it. No. The newspaper received some of the prompts from Monica Havens, a parent whose daughter received the book. I asked my daughter if she had been reading a book with inappropriate stuff in it. She said yes. Havens said, telling the newspaper that some of the prompts are horrific. No. I can't even wrap my brain around a teacher. I don't care if it's for college credit. These are minors. Yes. Yeah, it's one thing if it's in a actual college class, where adults go to school.
Yes.
It's another thing when it's, so you can only take college credit in high school when you are a senior, right?
No.
Oh. Oops.
I believe it depends on the school when they start offering it. But
yes.
I happen to know that most homeschoolers end up with their associate's degree by the time they finish their high school education.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. We did not
if you didn't know that, look that up. That's a fun statistic.
But they're all dumb.
No. No, your children are all dumb. That's purposefully so.
Oh, they just barely squeak by, though. Their grades are just barely over the top to get that associate's.
Duh.
The school's principal, Brian Welch, said at the board meeting that the school learned about the prompts last Friday. Oh. This was, apparently this was back in 2021. So, September.
Yeah, this was a while ago.
This was a while ago, but it came across my feed, and here we are. So we'll have to see if there's an update to this, actually. We did not exercise due diligence when we reviewed this resource, and as a result, we overlooked several writing prompts among the 642 that are not appropriate for a high school audience. You don't say, Brian. We feel terrible, do you? At no time were any of these inappropriate prompts selected or discussed. But still, they were there, and they were viewable, and you can't unsee them. So for this oversight, we did issue an apology today to our students' parents. Basically.
Hello, I'm Tony Hayward, President and CEO of BP. Our accidental drill... We're sorry. We're sorry.
Essentially.
Sorry. We're sorry.
It's essentially what that sounds like. We're sorry. The principal said the school is in the process of collecting the book from students. Good job. Good job.
Oh, no. Is that real?
What?
What was the name of the mayor?
Craig Schubert.
You remember our favorite ice fishing video?
Is that him?
Same guy.
Yes!
It is the same
He's
guy.
back, and this time it's personal.
Yeah. So I was looking for the updates of this after I noticed that it was 2021. So they didn't resign, and nothing ever came of it. They filed charges against him for aiding, abetting, and inciting violent threats against the school board after that. But it was determined that the school board basically didn't screen the book beforehand, and it was unintentional. So nothing ever came out of it. But it was the same guy, and he resigned after the ice fishing thing.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. He did. He did. He did. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Just for
This is it, folks.
Just for
we
fun.
need you to send a donation
Shush.
to help elect
Shush.
Kamala Harris and Tim Walz
Shush.
right now.
A couple of additional data points here for council to consider. One,
we're
the
here.
Hudson Fire Department does have the capability to do cold water, ice rescues. They've done the training in the past. Whether that certification is current, you'd have to ask Chief Farnes. I would say before you make any decisions, I would definitely get Chief Farnes to weigh in on this because, as Councilwoman Kowalski mentioned, it is the fire and EMS folks and perhaps the police department that all have to engage on a moment's notice should there be an incident. Additionally, if you open this up to ice fishing, while on the surface it sounds good, then what happens next year? Does someone come back and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time? And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem. Prostitution. And now you got the police chief and the police department involved. Just data points to consider.
Every freaking time. What kind of bait are you using?
It's Mr. Foster right there that just sells it for me. The guy sitting to his side.
You're like, what?
I was following. But hold up.
Right there. Oh my gosh.
Shanties, then that leads to another problem.
This right here.
Prostitution. And now you got the police chief.
Prostitution. And now you got the police chief. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe that's the same guy. That's hilarious.
I can't believe he resigned.
I can't either.
He was on a roll.
I mean, I was gonna say it seems like it's either half-assed or way too over the top to threaten them with charges, depending on whether or not you actually had anything. Like, if you can threaten them with charges, just charge them,
right?
Rather than give them the option with something like child pornography. If you don't have enough to just charge them, maybe you should take a little bit lower tier, income as you
maybe hit that landing a little softer.
Yeah, you might want to bring that in a little bit, just a little bit, as you go in there. Because I'm all for fighting for your kids. Yes, absolutely. If the school board was complicit and intentional in putting that kind of thing out, yes, they should be charged.
Like that one guy that.
However, there is a difference between intentionally doing something like that and this is a journal that has 642 writing prompts. Here, have it for a creative writing class.
Right.
And then you start flipping through and you go, well, wow, there's 642 writing prompts and 20 of them are lewd.
Uh-huh.
You know, and all of those things before that stuff is distributed to a classroom, a teacher, it should read through it all. They should have to read through it all.
There was multiple failures throughout distributing this book.
And that highlights a problem. However, you can't just charge in there threatening charges for child pornography distribution.
Yeah, there was I believe we covered it once upon a time. There was one guy that went to, I think it was a school board meeting, and he actually delivered a summons to each of the members to appear in front of court.
Yeah.
He actually followed through, said, here's the evidence, here's all the stuff, here's the summons.
Yeah. and yeah, I mentioned earlier that the journal is it's for an adult, but when I say that, I mean I don't mean that it actually is listed as adults only. It is listed as 642 things to write a journal. That's it. 642 outrageous and witty writing prompts. Banish writing blocks with 642 things to write about. Gosh, if I could speak, it'd be great.
He was just concerned about prostitution being on the rise at the schools.
You know, exactly. But nothing in the description of this journal would denote the fact that it has risque things in it.
Almost as if it's deceptive.
Yeah, I mean, it was written by somebody in San Francisco, so that makes sense.
It's just normal for them.
Right?
So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that roller coaster of a story.
I just love the fact that it looped back to our favorite sea shanties.
The best video ever.
Ice fishing shanties. Sorry.
What kind of bait are you using? All right. Good, fun story. Number the second and the last one I've got. So if you go to the Kamala Harris campaign website, you will now find that she has policies listed.
Oh, good.
She was conveniently posted them up on Sunday. So then that way she couldn't have it used against her in the debate, I'm sure. However, the New Republic, by no means a friend of Donald Trump, notice that when you share the link to kamalaharris.com/issues, it pops up with join our campaign to re-elect Joe Biden today. They thought that was weird. So they looked into it, and not only did they just copy and paste Joe Biden's issues to their website, they copied the code on Joe Biden's website and pasted the code to Kamala Harris's website.
Oh, good. As they should. That's the most efficient thing to do, if you're being honest.
She has a plan. She's going to turn a new page.
No, you look like an idiot.
That's true. On Sunday night, ex-user Corinne Green pointed out that the issues section of Harris's website contained metadata with language urging voters to re-elect Joe Biden. This language was visible when links to the campaign site were shared, and in the website's description on Google searches. This is a whole new level of lazy. 'Cause I mean, I would just highlight the words, right-click copy, right-click paste, or Control-C, and then Control-V. But no, this was, what if we copy the code?
Well, honestly, so that depends entirely on what kind of setup they're using for the
You want it
website.
to have the hyperlinks and the share links and whatever.
So the copy pasting the code actually would be the only way to do it on certain website builders and make it at all the same. And then you would have to go through the code and find the different things and take them out and replace them.
Like I said, lazy on a whole new level. You are intelligent enough to know that you have to go into the code to actually copy and paste what is desired of you. However, your intelligence is lacking in that you don't realize that you are copying, pasting the code from another website to your own. Like I said, I don't build websites, but I think I would noodle that one out before I hit submit. A new way forward, and it's literally just Biden's exact. You cannot make this up.
Jeez.
Sometime late on Sunday night or early Monday morning, the website's metadata appears to have been changed, with the language asking for Biden to be reelected having been removed. Yeah. Oh, good for you, Kamala. And I unfortunately watched a little bit of the debate last night.
That makes one of us. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
I would say that the winner of the debate was anyone that didn't watch it. So congratulations, Mike.
Yes.
You won the debate.
I personally think that the winner of that debate was the Voyager.
Voyager 1?
Yes, because it is currently the furthest man-made object away from Earth.
Sweet release. Yeah. Yeah. It was it was unbearable. I don't know how it would be if I didn't follow any politics and was the type of person that decided it's good to get somewhat educated on politics a couple of weeks before I cast a vote. I don't know how I would have reacted to that. Because all I heard was a soulless woman.
Okay, so
lying all the time, and Donald Trump not taking advantage of any of that.
What I've thought about with this, because I have watched snippets of it, but what I've thought about it was what you take away with it really, or from it, really depends on how observant you are.
Yes.
And how much outside of the debate knowledge you have. Because for those of us that follow things, it's very, very easy to tell that almost every word out of Kamala's mouth was a lie.
Uh-huh.
Almost every word. And she was backed up by the moderators. Now, you put the truth or lie of their words aside, right?
Uh-huh.
If you just look at what happened on that stage, you very clearly see some hard bias from the moderators.
Yes.
You see a 3-on-1 gangbang, basically, is what you see.
Yeah. An ambush.
It is an ambush, right. And so depending on how perceptive you are, if you go into that with no external knowledge and you set aside whether or not they're lying, just the fact that the moderators were not neutral would push me towards Trump.
Especially the faces that she was making.
Yes.
The one that drove me the most nuts was her whole hand on the chin thing.
If you put aside, if you can put aside that part of it, that they ganged up on him, and you put aside the fact, the knowledge that she's lying in almost all of it, if you just believe the words that she says and that the moderators say, because they're moderators, so it's an authority figure. If you do the appeal to authority through the debate, Kamala clearly won.
Mm-hmm.
If you use the appeal to authority fallacy.
Yes. Yes, because
and ignore all of the other red flags.
Yes, because at that point, you don't recognize that there was zero follow-up on Kamala's responses.
Yes.
Including when they asked her a direct question and she said nothing at all resembling an answer to that question. And they didn't follow up with, that's great, but this is the question, like they did to Donald Trump. I don't know how many times.
And so what you take away from the debate, like I said, is it is entirely based upon how perceptive and how knowledgeable you are outside of the debate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you set aside this piece, it's that candidate. If you set aside the other piece, it's this candidate. If you look at the whole thing as a whole, then Trump wins, in my opinion. Simply because of how incredibly fallacious most of the stuff that Kamala said was.
And how controlled he kept himself.
Himself. Yes.
I would not have been able to maintain that level of control.
No. Not at all. I honestly, everybody keeps talking about how awful he did. And I'm like, and I've seen several things that talk about how he got baited by her several times. And I'm like, okay, he got baited by her a few times, sure. But the entire debate.
When the bait is being smacked across his face for 90 minutes.
Yeah. You know, and he managed to control himself throughout a good portion of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not be surprised to see that what the Trump campaign needs to do is take that bit where he's talking about the inflation and people struggling to pay for food and rent and all that stuff. And the side by side has her laughing. Like that's not true. It's like
right.
Like 2 weeks ago, you were saying meat is 50% more, bread is 50% more, and Donald Trump's saying exactly the same thing, and that's not.
It's sad because I have several Republican friends that are like, no, Harris won that one because you can't blame the refs when you lose the game, and I'm like, in this case,
if you're playing football,
you know,
and the referee jumps and catches the ball after it's thrown and runs to the end zone and hands it to the opposing
team. You can blame
absolutely
the ref.
blame the referee.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. And like I said, I didn't watch the entire thing. I watched snippets here and there. My favorite thing has been the snips from Sky News, because Australians absolutely ripping on Kamala because she's so full of shit is the funniest thing I have seen in a long time.
Well, she's the one that's respected. Donald Trump is not.
Oh, right. Yeah.
On the world stage. No. It's almost as if she was projecting exactly who she actually is.
Yeah.
Onto Trump.
Okay. This is one of the things I think is funny. Okay. You know the Springfield, Ohio cats and geese thing, right?
Yes.
Everybody's up in arms because it didn't happen, and the bureaucrats in the government there have said it didn't happen and whatever, right? People in Australia know that this happened. On literally the opposite side of the world from us, people know that in Springfield, Ohio, somebody strung a cat up in a tree and cut pieces off of it to eat.
Yeah.
And somebody stole a goose from a park to eat it. People on the other side of the world know that's a real thing.
I didn't put it in the thing because I didn't know if we would be able to get to it, but here we are. So let me see if I can find it.
But people in our own country don't know that that's a real thing.
Uh-huh.
Because don't believe your lying eyes.
An article. Dear racists, you eat birds too. Racists are furious over migrants grilling seagulls and geese. Newsflash, most Americans eat birds. Ever heard of chicken? Now, I don't know about seagulls because I'm not necessarily a fan of eating things that eat trash. Something about being in a civilized society or something, not wanting to eat stuff that eats trash. Geese, however, a civilized society recognizes that you don't go to the city park, grab a goose or a duck, wring its neck in front of the kids, and take it home and grill it. You go outside of the city to handle the goose and duck hunting. Also, it's blatantly illegal to do that to a Canadian goose in the United States. So
it's because the Canadians are so nice.
Felony to do that.
Allegedly.
But yes. Ever heard of chicken? Yeah.
I've got a thing I'm trying to find to send over to you to play. If I can figure out what my friggin' Instagram login is.
The birds that end up on your plate live in conditions straight out of a horror movie. Caged, drugged, and slaughtered in mass production lines, yet right-wing scumbags have the audacity to clutch their pearls because a few undocumented people, who, let's be honest, have far bigger concerns than anyone reading this, took a goose or a seagull or two to survive. And yet, if this person were sitting at their local park and they saw some white guy go over and shoot the duck out of the air,
they would lose their
be hell to pay. How did PETA or something?
PETA, isn't that the guy off of Hunger Games?
Yes. That apparently has time
that documentary, Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. I've almost got it. Maybe.
Yeah, and I also saw a video of a guy that immigrated legally from Haiti, saying that, this is absolutely happening because that's what they do in Haiti. And they don't just eat them, they take them for sacrifices for voodoo stuff and things like that. So, that's exactly what this town of 40, 50,000 people want from 20,000 immigrants dropped right on their laps.
Precisely what they want.
Go ahead, start practicing voodoo on my front lawn, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I found it. Let's see. Send it. How do I just copy the link? Gosh. There it is. Boom. Okay. I have sent you a linkage for you to play.
Linkage.
Yes.
Linkages. On the Insta.
Throw that up on the
Mr. Nick Freitas.
Yes. Throw that up on the view screen.
It's thinking about it. It's frozen.
Oh yay.
Everything is frozen. There it goes. No, hold on, Nick. Don't say it yet.
Pause, Nick, pause.
Pause, Nick, pause.
That's a good pause right there.
Interesting. Yeah, I especially love the part where Donald Trump brought up the reports of people eating other people's pets, and ABC immediately responded with, we checked with a city bureaucrat, and they said that isn't happening. So that's the end of that, which means we're in stage one of a 4-stage reporting cycle. Stage one is nobody wants to eat your pets, which will soon be followed by stage two, which is why are you so concerned about people wanting to eat your pets, which will then be followed by stage three, which is, did you know that eating your pets is actually a good thing? And then, of course, it will culminate finally with, if you don't eat your pets, you're a white supremacist. Yeah, this is the clown world we live in.
Only every time. It's only what they do every time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good myself.
Yeah. And I was already on board with, oh, yeah, that's happening. I've seen all the crazy, well, I haven't seen all the crazy stuff, but I've seen plenty of crazy stuff out of Haiti and other fun-loving countries like that. To believe that, well, yeah, you just drop people here without any kind of education or whatever on how things work in the United States. Yeah, they're going to just do what they did, but with greater access. And then you throw in Donald Trump talking about it, whose batting average is, well, he should play baseball with the batting average he has on crazy things that he says.
That's fair.
Is it 100? No, but it's dang close.
I actually think the high batting average is like 300, isn't it?
Well, 1,000 is a perfect batting average.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's not batting 1,000, but he's close. Anyway, that's it.
Because I was going to say a 300 batting average is decently like MLB batters are in the 300s.
Welcome to baseball, where 33% is acceptable.
Yes.
In fact, it's encouraged. And applauded.
What was Babe Ruth's batting average? 342.
There you go.
So, there you go.
He was up there.
He was.
The great Bambino.
Great Bambino.
Some girl named Babe. I don't know. There you go. There you have it. There's all the stuff.
There we go. All right. Well,
like, subscribe, share, comment, all the fun, lovely, sociable things. With all that, Galatians 4:16. Bye.
Did you make an outro clip yet?
Of course not.
Do we have an outro clip? Do we even have an outro clip? Does one exist?
Just waiting.
Just waiting for it.
For an outro. A whole new outro.
It's
A
terrible.
dazzling scene that hardly anyone sees.
All right, I'm going to cut you off.
What's even better is this is at the end.
Yes, it's the best. They still won't know what's
The
going on.
sweet cherry on top.
Sweet cherry on top. They lied to you.
You lied to me.
Who is they?
It's them. You just gestured to everyone.
Is it a lie if they don't know that they're lying?
Technically, no. If you're repeating a lie that you have heard, but you think that it is truth because you don't have any contrary evidence, you are not lying. However, you are spreading the lie.
Is that what they mean when they say super spreader event? Is that what happened in COVID?
Yes, it made a lot of people really dumb. Or it didn't make them dumb, it revealed
how dumb they were?
How dumb they actually are, yes.
Yes, well.
Yeah. But the government will keep us safe. Will they? Does they?
But the government can do this thing. Why should they? Because I want that thing. Well, then why don't you go pay somebody else to do it? Well, because it doesn't make enough money for somebody else to do it for how much I want to pay for it.
Oh, so you want everyone else.
So you want everybody else to pay for it so you can have it for less.
Because you want to use it once a week, maybe. Therefore, burdening thousands of others who don't want to use it at all with the cost. Yes, That is freedom. Idiots. But how will I exercise if I don't have a rec center to exercise at? I don't know. I guess
you could try going for a walk outside.
Well, you can't do that. There's no treadmills outside. There's not a nice, cozy, padded walking track to walk around on. Plus, what if I decide I want to lift some weights? Then what, Mr. Walk Outside? There's nothing heavy outside.
Yeah, that's fair.
You got me. Let's pay for the rec center. Isn't it interesting, though, that whenever they do things like that, they, they implement the tax to pay for it, and then that tax never goes down once it's built.
Yeah. Weird. I see one problem with the H1 earphones, the Nova H1 earphone. Thing.
Yeah.
It's a good joke that Kamala was wearing one, but the problem I see with that theory is that the H1 earphones it's a solid metal piece from under the pearl that wraps up around the back. And the one that she had on was like two wires.
Yeah.
Pieces that came down.
Yeah. It looks similar.
Looks similar, but not quite.
Doesn't match exactly. Would I put it past them? No, I would not.
No, definitely would not.
Do I think they actually did it? No, I don't think they did. But again, would not be surprised if I was proved otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say that the Secret Service doesn't have little earrings that they've made that are earpieces?
Well, I don't know. They don't even know how to cover 100 yards away from VIP.
I'm not saying they're good at a lot of things. Hell, I'm not even saying they're good at much of anything. But there is an off chance.
How far they have fallen since the days of Pinkerton.
Hey, look, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Sometimes 3, depending on what time it's stopped working at.
That's true.
Sometimes the clock puts on a Trump hat in the middle of a little speech,
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does. What? It's a fireman hat. It's red.
It's red.
Yep, Joe. It's a fireman's hat. Anyway, should we get to it?
Sure. Let's do that.